Good morning. My name is Jeff Allen, and I'm a United Methodist pastor and the executive director of the West Virginia Council of Churches. I'd like to welcome everyone to this press conference for the extended child tax credit. I'd like to remind folks to please observe all COVID protocols, use masks, and maintain some social distance. As we stand outside the West Virginia State Lottery building, it is a good reminder that we shouldn't gamble with our children's lives. It is not good to leave our children's future to chance, not when we have the opportunity to even the odds for West Virginia's children. It's not good when children's lives become unbearable through hunger, lack of daycare, lack of housing, and poverty. As we stand here today, we know that mothers and fathers and advocates for children will be standing on the mall in Washington, D.C., along with 500 teddy bears, each bear representing 100 children who have fallen back into poverty with the expiration of the extended child tax credit. They stand in the long tradition of those who call for justice in our land. It was there, after all, on the mall, where people gathered to hear Martin Luther King Jr. in 1963 deliver his I Have a Dream speech on the steps of Lincoln Memorial. And the footprints of those who stand for children on the mall today join those of Martin Luther King Jr. Join the women and men who marched for voting rights for women in 1913. Join those who participated in the Million Man March and the Million Women March, and countless others who seek to form a more perfect union. They stand there today surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, because they believe that all children should have a future. As I've said before, every generation has an opportunity to move the country forward. Every nation, the moment to make life substantially better for its citizens, and every parent the freedom to hope for a better future for their children. Through the extended child tax credit, we have proven that we can change the life of children in our country for the better. We have proven we know how to do this. The extended child tax credit lifted 50,000 children in West Virginia out of poverty for a time. We did it once. Now is the time to do it again. Thank you. And now our next speaker is Joanna Vance. Please welcome Joanna Vance.
Try to not get emotional, but I am really upset. My name's Joanna Vance. I am a mom, I am a wife, a taxpayer, homeowner, a West Virginian, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. I've given this speech month after month, it feels like, about how the child tax credit has helped me, and how the child tax credit has helped West Virginians, helps families, and how the child tax credit needs to be extended, and what would happen to West Virginia families if it wasn't. And now here we are, February the 2nd, with no child tax credit, and all of the families that I've organized with and worked with for 6 months to try to get the child tax credit extended are hurting and are suffering. People who didn't have to live from paycheck to paycheck because of the child tax credit are now having their bills, getting their power cut off, having their water cut off, having to choose between what bills to pay and what groceries to buy at the grocery store. I'm a part of a group. It's a mutual aid help group that we started at the beginning of the pandemic. And for the past 6 months, that mutual aid help group, it's just been, people checking in and questions about the child tax credit and things like that, But for the past month, it's filled with nothing but people that are suffering and hurting and need help. They need help paying their bills. They need help buying groceries. They don't know what to do because, it's right after Christmas, in the dead of winter, and bills are higher. And we're exactly where we said we were going to be if the child tax credit wasn't extended. I don't know what else to say because Senator Manchin doesn't listen. West Virginia is suffering, and West Virginians are suffering, and we need help. And if Senator Manchin's not going to help us, then who is? That's all I thought. Quotes from the real people that are going to suffer with no child tax credit. From Kim, a West Virginia mom. I am very worried about utility costs this winter. That money was a godsend for helping with that. From Christy, a West Virginia mom in Culloden. We will have to be selective about what we purchase at the grocery store. If it gets too tight, I will have to get a part-time job. I also provide care to my aging parents. If I have to get a part-time job, I am not sure who will be able to provide care for my parents. From Rebecca, a West Virginia mom from Fairmont. The child tax credits have helped us on our journey to get out of debt and eventually own a home. And from Erin, a West Virginia mom from Morgantown. With the CTC, we were able to buy groceries and pay for bills that would have been harder to do. Having that breathing room was helpful with our mental outlook on our finances. Anxiety is not fun, and anxiety about paying bills and getting evicted can be an ever-present undercurrent. But this money helped alleviate some of that worry, and to me, that is priceless. 2021 was an especially difficult year for my family for a lot of reasons, but the monthly payments through the temporary extended child tax credit made a huge difference in my family's ability to stay afloat. For a lot of families like me, the extended child tax credit was the line between having a utility turned off or rent being paid, or food at the table. For others, it was a desperately needed cushion for emergency car repairs or medical bills. When having a savings often feels like a luxury because we're so used to living paycheck to paycheck. These realities aren't unusual, and every West Virginian deserves better. We deserve every piece of Build Back Better. Making the extended child tax credit permanent should be just the start of that conversation. And that's from Hunter, a West Virginia mom in Kanawha County. Thank you.
Some additional quotes, and then I'm going to speak a little bit about my truth. From Holly, a Marshall County mom. CTC helped me move into a house in a better neighborhood. I used the $250 a month credit towards the higher rent each month. It's been a blessing to my family. Having a house to ourselves without sharing a yard with your families means so much. From Courtney, a West Virginia mom. The boys' toilet in their bathroom has been broken for months now, skyrocketing my water bill. As soon as I got the CTC, I went and bought a new toilet to replace the one in the boys' bathroom. From Emily, a West Virginia mom. We've never had internet because I just couldn't afford it. That made virtual schooling last year hard. Because of the CTC, we have internet. And my mind is a little more at ease in case we have to go back to virtual schooling. From Josh and Jenna, West Virginia parents in Mongolia County. The CTC made it possible for us to afford a trip to visit grandparents and extended family we had not seen in over 2 years. From Amanda, a West Virginia mom. My girls wanted a cheer this year, but it was too expensive. Without the CTC, or it was so expensive, without the CTC, I would have had to tell them they couldn't do it. Unfortunately, these types of quotes are all too often and too common in the state of West Virginia. Senator Manchin says that he speaks for us, yet he doesn't want to listen to what we have to say. I was in that meeting that was canceled by his workers, by his office staffers. I was in the rescheduled meeting with his office staff. I know how that meeting went. I know that he sent people to talk to us that were not parents and could not relate to the pain that we feel being in this state that is so economically far behind everyone else that we struggle to have a normal life for our children. It's unacceptable. And him blocking this bill and blocking the CTC is unacceptable, and it's unbearable for the children of this state. I have children that play sports. I sit on the board of directors for a youth sports league, and there are several children that get scholarships through this program because their parents can't afford a $50 registration fee for their kid to play a sport. Unbearable. It's unbearable for the families to be able to have to speak to their children and explain to them that they can't participate because they can't afford it. And it's also unbearable that these children should not be able to participate because their parents can't afford it. It's unacceptable and unbearable. And Senator Manchin, listen, you'll never know. You will never know what it's like to only be allowed to buy your child one gift for Christmas because that's all you can afford. You will never know what it's like to have to choose which utility bill you pay to make sure that your kids don't go without. You will never know what it's like to carry a calculator in the grocery store to make sure that you don't go over your budget and have to put main items back because you did. You will never know what that's like. You will never know what it's like to have to explain to your child how to cook something extra on your way to work in case they're still hungry after they eat the dinner you prepared because there's not enough. You'll never know what that's like, but I do. We do. And we are screaming to tell you, don't turn your back on our kids. Woo!
Everyone for coming today. We want to remember our sisters and brothers in Washington who are standing tall for the extended child tax credit. We have our Twitter is it hashtag up here? Hashtag West Virginia Black Bear. And please, we just ask that everyone contact your senators here in West Virginia. If you're looking across the nation, contact your senators anywhere in the nation. And let's make this a goal of America. That now is the time to end child poverty, not only in West Virginia but across this country of ours. We can do it. We know how to do it. And we should do it. Thank you all very much for coming. I think we have some folks available for interviews as well. Thank you.